Welcome to Legacy Cast, your source for hearing from top influencers, industry experts, and successful business owners who are telling their unique story about life, values, goals, business strategies, and the various causes they are so passionate about. Future generations will come to be impacted by what is happening today, whether positive or negative, and our mission is to focus on what is going to affect change for the better. Hosted each weekday by James Snow, a former U.S. Army combat medic, now founder and principal advisor of James Advisors Group, a full-service financial planning firm in North Texas. This is Legacy Cast. Welcome, Legacy Cast listeners. This is James Snow, your host, and coming to you from Texas. And I have with me today a guest, Ron. I'm not even going to butcher his last name because I can't pronounce that.
Golumbieski.
Golumbieski, okay. And Ron is the CEO of Pocket Shelf, the Pocket Shelf. And so I'd like to welcome Ron to the program. Welcome.
Hey, thank you.
So Ron, as you would probably expect, with the program Legacy Cast, what does legacy mean to you on a personal level?
On a personal level, it's, I guess, kind of like leaving your mark. Leaving something that you'll be known for.
Right.
And that could be just raising good kids, or personally, aside from that, I have 2 patents, so those will forever be on record. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So do you feel that it's important that everyone consider actively, having deliberate actions that is going to, play into their legacy planning?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. There's too much to life to just sit back and be a spectator. You gotta try to leave your mark somehow in a positive way, something that people remember you
Sure.
for. And like I said, that could very well be just raising good kids,
Yeah, absolutely. How do your views on legacy affect your business, and how would you recommend other people look at that?
How does it affect the business? Trying to put out a good product, something that's worth it for people, not junk. You don't want to be known for, like pushing snake oil, I guess, and if this is something that I can build up and eventually bring the kids in, that would be awesome too. After I get this one product going, I've got so many ideas in my head, but this is the hardest thing I've ever done. So trying to figure this thing out, and then I'll go from there.
So tell me a little bit about the product that you're referring to here.
So it's the pocket. Well, you can see it back there. It's a little portable shelf. So most of my family, I'm in New York. They smartened up and they all moved to Florida. So I do a lot of traveling, and this one particular time, but it happens all the time, we got delayed. Everybody's phone was dead or needed to be charged, and of course there's no outlets available except for there's one on the wall that's way over there somewhere, and there's no place to put your phone except for on the floor. So that had happened, and a couple weeks after that, I was watching TV and a commercial came on, and it was set in an airport, and there were phones all over the place, all over the floor and all over each other and everything like that, which sparked my memory. So I knew that I would be in that situation again. So I figured that before that happens, I should probably get something to avoid that, keep my phone off the floor, when I'm in an airport, something easy.
Sure.
And I looked around, and there's absolutely nothing out there. So I looked and I looked and I looked. And literally 11:30 at night, I went out in my garage and I made the first one. I got an outlet cover and some plastic and whipped it up and talked to my best friend, and he's a product developer just in a different area. So he loved it, and he made key connections for me and started me on my way, really. And it's been quite a journey, I can tell you that.
Yeah. So, as far as from a CEO standpoint and entrepreneurial standpoint, what would be maybe a couple things about the business that maybe still keep you up at night? Are there a few things?
There's, yes, everything. There's, if you're not dedicated to doing a business, having a business, you might as well not even start, because
Right.
everything is going to keep you up at night. Whether it's ads or marketing or, where should you put this next? Should you go to this show? Should you do it here? It's everything about it keeps you up, and just trying to maneuver your way around learning how to do it first of all, and figuring it out as you go. There's a lot of sleepless nights, and you've got to be dedicated. You've got to be dedicated to it.
Absolutely. Do you believe it's important for people to, excuse me, to put together business plans and financial plans with their business?
I've had mentors go both ways with that. This is my first business, and from what I was told, a basic business plan is good to get going, and as you get going, some business plans are really, really super in depth. Just to start, you should have an idea of where you want to go, and as you get direction, you fill in the blanks, really. And financial plan, whatever you think this is going to cost, probably like triple it. The finances are they're expensive. You should absolutely know your numbers, just to make sure that what you're doing is worth it, it's feasible, and you're not paying people to take your product, but I think all that stuff can develop over time too, if you're just getting into it, you should certainly have an idea.
What do you think some of the reasons are that entrepreneurs are not succeeding, failing and giving up?
Because it's so difficult. It's so hard. Like I said, if you're not committed to it, if you're not ready to spend 12, 15, 18 hours a day, every day, whether you're behind your computer or you're out doing whatever, pushing your product, you could be on vacation. You better have business cards with you, talk to people about, what you're doing all the time. You're always working. You're always working. So, doing what I did. Oh, it's annoying. Sorry. So doing what I did, bringing a product to the market, or developing it and going through patents and stuff. There was hundreds and hundreds of hours just behind the scenes trying to learn as I went, and going to meetings, and finding like the tech gardens and mentors, and setting things up and talking to people. It's hard. They say 98% of new innovations never reach the shelves. because it's so difficult.
I believe it. What maybe are some specific roadblocks and resources that you would advise an entrepreneur to be mindful of?
Specific roadblocks. It seems like everybody out there is trying to separate you from your money. There's a lot of really, really good people, whether it's marketing or um, advertising or web design or you name it. If there's something that you can't do that you need help with, there's a ton of people out there that will tell you they are the cream of the crop, and they might even have stuff to back it up, just so long you pay them up front. And then there's no guarantees. And so if you get involved with those people, you need to really, really research them and really vet them, find out what they did, who they worked for or with that they no longer work with, and talk to them. Why didn't it work out? So there's a lot of scams out there. You just got to be careful.
That's true. Due diligence is definitely something to practice with business. So how would your personal values and belief systems play a role in your business planning?
I like to keep everything I like to preserve my integrity. So keeping everything right up front, out in the open, wear everything on your sleeve or whatever you want to say about it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that aren't like that. They will take advantage of you. If you show your hand, they'll jump on it. So even with that, it's kind of who I am to be, upfront and honest, and I want to provide the best that I can, without trying to BS people.
Yeah, I agree. So what is something perhaps earlier in life that you didn't do that you maybe wish you had done? Is there anything, that kind of hanging out there
that I didn't do as far as business wise, or
just in general?
Just in general. I've had a pretty interesting life. So
no regrets, huh?
There's not a whole lot. I could say that I probably wish that I had maybe started doing this sooner. Gotten into the entrepreneurial world earlier. Breaking into it in your mid 40s it's a challenge. Whereas if you start out with a lemonade stand and you go from that to detailing cars, and that's what you do, you've got quite the leg up, if you immerse yourself in this world right from an early age.
Yeah, and I hear that quite a bit. Also, just starting earlier and wanting to get the ball rolling at an earlier age. What hurdles did you face when transitioning out of the military and starting business?
Well, I didn't get into business. Geez, I got out in 93, and I've only been doing this for two and a half, almost 3 years. So it was quite a long time in the transition, and this just happened to. It was just one of those things. It just happened. I had a light bulb moment, and I made a little thing that was convenient for me, and I showed it to somebody, and they're like, "Wow, that's awesome!" And the snowball started, and it has continued to roll.
So if you can talk me, kind of talk me through the process there of how you kind of created that.
The prototype, or
Well, the that you went through just in general.
I didn't hear the first part of that.
Kind of, are you able to talk me through the process of how you came up with the idea?
Yeah, I was looking for a way to keep my phone off the floor when I was in an airport. Something that was convenient I could put in my pocket, hence the name Pocket Shelf.
Mm-hmm.
So when I went out and into my garage and I made it, it's actually, I've got it on the wall. It's that first one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where is it? Right there. It's the first one I made. And it's an outlet cover. It's just an outlet cover. I used some plexiglass and I put it next to my recliner because I wasn't going to be traveling for a while. So my recliner was next to a wall and there was a walking space, and then my couch was over here. So there was no place to put a drink. I had a leather recliner with big round arms. My drink was always on the floor, my phone, whatever. So I took that, I stuck it next to my recliner, and I used that thing all the time. And, I showed Chris, and he thought it was pretty cool, show him how it folded up, and that was that was it. That was the start. We sat and napkin sketched a little bit, and he put me in contact with some pretty key people. I've learned a lot. That's for sure.
So is there a particular profession that you have thought about doing other than the direction you've headed, or?
Well, I've got a couple other things in mind on the same line with this, but I'm not really going to talk about that right now. So, and that's all kind of up in the air too. Yeah, trying to figure out. I'm trying to get a team together right now to move this thing forward, and that's like we talked about earlier. That's not easy.
Right.
You'll never find people with the same passion that you have. Yeah.
That's true.
I was talking to another guy last week, and he said that you should never try to find someone with that passion for your product. You got to find the people with a passion in their area. So if it's web design, find somebody who's just crazy about doing web design. And
Yep.
And that kind of thing.
That's true. So what would you say your greatest character strength would be?
Boy, you put me on the spot with that one. Greatest character strength. I would have to say tenacity. I don't know if that's good or bad, but in this you have to have it. You're going to get kicked in the knees so many times, and you're going to fall flat on your face, and if you can't keep getting up and keep moving forward, if you don't have it in you, to as soon as you get up out of bed, to wake up, turn on your computer, go out and start your coffee, and get right to getting, and and that's what you do all day, and then you wait till you get kicked down again, you get up, brush yourself off, learn your lesson, and keep going.
Very true. On the flip side of that, what would you say your greatest weakness would be?
Lately, it's been motivation. The tenacity is still there. The motivation has been running low, but you know, keeping that motivation up can be a challenge sometimes, and when you just go and go and go and for a year and a half, 2 years, and there's really no progress. I mean, there is progress, but you have to be able to. It's nice to see progress that other people can see. So
Right.
yeah, probably staying motivated all the time.
Yeah, that's a tough one. Do you have a particular place that you do your idea getting, maybe out in nature or particular spot that you brainstorm?
No, I've always been like a solution person. If there's a problem, I like to try to find a way to solve the problem. Whether
Right.
it's modifying a product or making something new, or so it's really wherever it's wherever the light bulb comes on. That could be anywhere.
Okay. So if you were to describe at a very high level what the process is behind what you're doing with your business, how would you describe that?
What the process is as far as making a product.
Right. For somebody that maybe wants to follow in your footsteps.
Well, there's a whole lot to making a physical product that if you don't know about, you don't know about. Your product has to be makeable. If you have a plastic widget, it has to be moldable. And you have to know what kind of molding you need. Is it blow molding? Is it injection molding? There's layover. There's all kinds of stuff. So, learning all that, you really gotta kind of learn sort of everybody's process to make your own. When you have an idea, you should protect it in some fashion. The patent and trademark laws have changed. You got to use NDAs. The process really is. It's really kind of simple, but it's also kind of tricky to walk through. There's a lot of information out there. So you have your idea, you make your napkin sketch. And all this stuff has to happen pretty quick. You got to find somebody who can make it moldable. And get your idea protected somewhat. And then of course you have to fund it. You have to find somebody to make the tooling and to make the actual pieces, and and then how do you market it? Marketing is a whole different thing. Whether it's your packaging to getting videos or pictures or whatever. I mean, every little thing counts. It could be the simplest little shade change in color. So you really have to kind of know what you don't know, and find people to answer the questions and set that process up so you're not skipping ahead and you're not really missing anything. In the book, I go through, I kind of lay the process out, start to finish.
Yeah, you mentioned a book. Can you tell me a little bit about your book?
Oh, it's called Napkin Sketch to Retail: How to Get That Idea Out of Your Head and Onto the Shelf. And it's really just my journey, and it like I said, there's so much information out there. The problem is if you don't know where to look, it can take a long time to find. So the ebook is full of resources. Just click and it takes you right to what you're looking for. And it talks a lot about patents and how to protect your stuff, and licensing. Licensing is a great thing to do if you know what you're doing, and you don't have to be a rocket scientist to figure it out. You just have to have an idea.
So, how would people be able to get a hold of you and maybe get a hold of the book and contact you personally?
The book's coming out in a few weeks. My website is www.thepocketshelf.com. My email is info@thepocketshelf. My name's Ron, and that's probably email. You can email right through the website. Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, all that. All of the social sites, it's all The Pocket Shelf.
Okay. Thank you, Ron. Well, I appreciate you coming on to the program today and spending some time and letting us know about what you're creating that's going to make a difference in the world. And as I enjoy saying to each of my guests, I'll see you around the bend, my friend.
That's awesome. Hey, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. You've been listening to Legacy Cast. Thank you for joining us today, and be sure to come back next time as we speak with more top influencers, industry experts, and business owners from around the world.